The night smelled like rain, even though the sky was clear. A faint chill curled at the back of my neck as I stepped inside the old farmhouse. The air thick with cheap perfume and laughter. Something didn't sit right, like the hum of an unseen tension just beneath the surface. I glanced around the crowded living room. Glasses clinked, voices rose and fell. And then I saw him. Luke, my cousin. Always easy to spot, with that crooked grin he wore like armor. He didn't meet my eyes, which only made the pit in my stomach grow heavier. My name's Rachel. I came back for the family reunion, trying to patch up what was fraying between us all. But Luke had changed, or maybe I just hadn't noticed how dark he'd gotten. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I was certain it wouldn't end like this. Luke was talking to a woman I didn't recognize, a guest I hadn't seen at previous reunions. She held a glass of wine loosely in one hand, her eyes sharp and calculating. I caught snippets of their conversation, words that slipped like knives. Fraud, investments, betrayal. My pulse quickened. That wasn't the kind of talk you overhear at a family party. The truth about Luke wasn't new to me. Years ago, he'd always been the charming hustler, the guy who could sell sand in a desert and make you thank him for it. But there had always been rumors, whispers about deals gone wrong, money disappearing, trust broken. I remembered the day Mom called me, voice tight, warning me to stay clear of him. He's not the boy you knew, Rachel, be careful. I brushed it off then. Family drama, I thought. But standing here, watching that woman's gaze lock onto Luke like a hawk circling prey, I felt the weight of those warnings settle like a stone. Rachel, my brother, Nate's voice broke through my thoughts. You need to hear this. I followed him to the kitchen where the party noise softened. He pulled me aside, eyes dark and serious. There's talk. Luke's been scamming people. Not just small stuff, big investments. People we know, trusting him. Are you sure? Nate hesitated, then nodded. It's bad. Someone's going to confront him tonight. I swallowed hard, my mind racing. Luke always had a way out. Always a story, a lie, a way to shift blame. But this time felt different. Back in the living room, the woman, Emily, I'd learned, stepped closer to Luke. Her voice was low but fierce. You can't keep hiding. The numbers don't add up. Luke's jaw tightened. He opened his mouth, then shut it again. I caught a flicker of fear in his eyes. Something about that shook me. Luke was never scared. At least, not openly. The room shifted. Other guests started to edge closer, sensing the tension. Whispers rippled like a storm about to break. I felt a cold sweat on my palms. What did Emily really know? That night wasn't just about Luke's lies. It was about the family's buried secrets, the debts, the betrayals, the desperate silences. I remembered the first mini-twist. The check Emily flashed. Proof of Luke's fraudulent transfers, accounts frozen, investments vanished overnight. Then Nate revealed the second twist. Emily wasn't just a random party guest. She'd been one of Luke's earliest investors, burned when her life savings disappeared. And then came the third, the quietest but most explosive. Luke's phone buzzed, a message from someone named Dad, a name that wasn't just anyone. The man who'd built this family's legacy, the man who'd trusted Luke with everything. Why was Dad texting Luke during the confrontation? The party erupted when Emily's accusation became public. Voices raised. Luke's defenses crumbled. People demanded answers. My heart pounded, torn between loyalty and horror. I noticed then that I wasn't just watching. I was part of it. Part of something that had been brewing for years beneath the surface of family smiles and holiday dinners. I took a breath and stepped forward. I think it's time to stop running, I said, my voice clear and calm. Luke, we know what you did. He looked at me, eyes wide. Rachel, that was when I let him have it. The confession wasn't just his breaking point, it was mine too. But here's what I hadn't told anyone. I'd been watching Luke for months. Quietly, carefully, tracing his steps, piecing together the truth. I wasn't just his cousin, I was the one who reported him. The calls to banks, the anonymous tips. I'd been preparing for this night. Not to humiliate him, but to save the rest of us. The crowd's energy shifted when I revealed that Luke's face drained of color. He collapsed into a chair, defeated. But then came the double twist. First, Luke confessed to everything. Fraud, lies, everything Emily accused him of. The room exhaled, relief mingled with shock. But then, second, bigger twist. The message from Dad. Not a warning or a plea. It was an order. Dad wasn't innocent. Dad had known, had orchestrated it all. Luke wasn't just a con artist, he was a pawn. And I wasn't just a cousin or a whistleblower. I was the last piece in a puzzle none of us wanted to see. The silence was thick. Luke looked at me, betrayal and something deeper flashing in his eyes. "I never wanted this," he whispered. I shook my head. "No, you wanted to survive." And just like that, the party ended. The lights went out on the farmhouse. And all that was left was the truth. And the question no one dared ask. What happens when family isn't your refuge, but your trap? I closed the door behind me. And walked away. Because some ties you have to cut. Forever.